Hello, welcome to Inner Growth. This is Wendy Rodriguez, and welcome to my healing journey. I am super excited to get started and to speak on a numerous amount of hard topics and share my self-reflection throughout all the adversity I've faced. My intention is to create a community of like-minded people that empower one another to know their greatness and to discover their true strength and identity in this world. I am so grateful to have all of you watching and hungry for change. Thank you for your time. And remember, being free is exactly who you are meant to be. Many blessings. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Inner Growth. Healing is a Journey. I'm Wendy Rodriguez. And I want to talk about today about how to say no and how to feel okay with saying no. This is very current for me. I am learning how to say no and being okay with it. I was raised mostly, or I guess my love language, or how I was taught to love, was to truly do everything that the other person wanted me to do in order for me to feel like that I love them. And that's with saying that, like, I don't do things for myself, so then I'm not truly loving myself first, you know? And so I was doing that for a very long time, and I still struggle with it right now. And it came up again, and I know this is something I want to talk through with my EMDR therapist. It's one of the triggers I was talking about, that like you have them out of nowhere and then they trigger you back into what you used to do. So one of the things that has happened recently is that I have a friend who would like to move in with me, which sounds like just the greatest idea, to have someone else, and if you guys watch my other video, not having loneliness anymore. But my decision when my roommate moved out was, I want to move in with someone who won't be toxic and who will not cause like any type of stress. You know, I want my home to be something I can come home to and feel safe. Mind, she honestly is amazing. She's the greatest person and everything like that. This has nothing to do with her. It honestly has everything to do with me. And I've noticed that when my tank is empty, I literally can't give, and I can't say yes, and I can't say no. Like, I just feel so doubtful with things. And there's been a lot going on in my life the last couple of weeks, and they have triggered some things, you know, in my mind to go back to the same old patterns. And it's a constant reminder that you have, you know, I keep challenging myself to stay being different and view things in a different perspective. And so to have someone want to be in your space, but you know that whether or not it will be helpful, you know, with the rent, and so financially it would be helpful and you wouldn't be lonely and all of these things, it's okay to say no just because you feel like it's not a great idea. Thought process is, I truly want to be alone. I know that this is for me right now, and I've actually became very comfortable with it, and I can do, you know, my channel, and it makes me feel very, very comfortable that I don't have to come home and really like worry about anybody else besides myself. And I truly, truly, truly love that. I know that when people go through a hard time, it's a really good idea to be a good friend and to be there for them. And the balance, though, is that you can only be there for them as much as you possibly can. And what you can't give anymore, like, that doesn't make you a bad person. And that's where I start getting stuck on, is how far is too far and how much is enough, right? And with, like I said, with the love language that I had before, is that I give my all and I start resenting people, even though, you know, because I'm doing things I don't want to do, instead of just respecting myself and allowing myself to be okay that I can't give them that at that time. And I do this a lot. I used to play almost like a mind game with myself, that I felt like if someone did something for me, I had to spend the rest of my life doing something for them, like something huge, something major. When my diagnosis happened, I felt like I was in debt with a couple of people in my life. And I felt like because they were there for me without fail during the hardest time of my life, I now needed to replace that with me doing something for them. And so the mind game that I played with myself was 1 for 1. You do something for me, I'll do something for you. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. A lot of that now that I'm realizing is very conditional. It's conditional love. And I realized that because all of us are great, all of us have the power to know that we are amazing and beautiful and great souls, that if it comes natural to someone to want to do something for you, you don't owe them anything for them doing that for you. Honestly, it takes 2 secure people for this to be a healthy transaction. So the healthy, secure person would be like, I feel like actually giving this person a card and a candy because I know that they've been going through a hard time. And the other secure person will take that and be like, you know what? I know I deserve this candy and this card because I am a great friend and I know that I am going through a hard time. Thank you so much for this card and this candy. I truly appreciate it. Without even thinking like, oh my gosh, tomorrow I need to give them a candy and a card to make them feel better. So I had a friend who went through something similar to just like not being able to say no and having just a super, super hard time with that. So she was dating a guy that was an illegal immigrant. And he was, they were super great for each other, amazing, had a great relationship. But his parents were super, super, super pushy on her marrying her boyfriend to help him get papers. And she would come to me and say, Wendy, like, I love the guy, like, I eventually want to marry him, like, that is my ultimate goal. But I want to do it for the right reasons. Like, I want to do it because I want to marry him. I don't want to just do it to help get him papers. And I know that sounds, well, I don't know how that sounds. It sounds however you want to think it sounds. But was she in the wrong for saying no to them? I personally don't think so, because I feel like no matter what, like, stay true to your beliefs and your system. And if she were to say yes, like, then that was part of her truth and her values and her morals. And either way, I think is acceptable. Either way, I think is 100% true. I don't necessarily find it super great for the parents to come forth and, start asking her to do something very committed and very huge, major, that's supposed to be out of love, not supposed to be out of convenience or business. But I also found compassion for them to think that they wanted the best for their son, and they wanted their son to be stable and have a good career, have a good future, and all of that. So I understand where both parties were coming from. I just know that she felt horrible for saying no. And honestly, it's okay that she said no. And so there's plenty of examples in that way, but I just felt like if you're not ready for a certain thing and you force yourself to be ready for it, or you say yes when you meant no, and you say yes because you brainwash yourself to feel like, oh, it's gonna be fine, or it's gonna change, or it'll be better. Like, honestly, your heart knows within 3 seconds of meeting someone whether or not they are a good person for you, and your brain will spend the rest of your life trying to manipulate you to think otherwise. So I would honestly say go with feeling. And if you're not super intact with your body, you're not super intact with your soul or your spirit, start becoming more aware of when you're around certain people, how do you feel? Like, start getting like ideas and clues. When you're with someone that makes you feel a certain type of way, or that has low energy, or truly just, sucks the soul out of you pretty much, start thinking like, are my shoulders up higher? Like, do I feel more antsy? Am I more stressed out? Am I more like, does it get raised a lot more because I'm yelling at this person all the time? Like, am I constantly trying to find different ways to not hurt this person's feelings? Am I trying, that would mean that maybe that person's not super great for you, and you can honestly start feeling that. You can first start with your brain and thinking like, is this person good for me, and all the reasons why. But once you become that aware, you'll feel it. You literally will feel like, yeah, I shouldn't be here right now, or this isn't for me, or this relationship shouldn't be this anymore. I don't feel that. I don't feel the love. I don't, like, go based off your feeling. Figure out why, and like really name that feeling and name the reasons why you feel that way. But honestly, I keep going back and forth because I know a lot of people want answers. And so for you to just say no to something, like, it just seems like, well, why not? And you're like, we've all been taught to give excuses of why we don't do certain things. And honestly, yeah, some people are jackasses and they just say no to everything. And you're just like, well, fuck, man, like, why not, But honestly, if you're a secure person, the other person's a secure person, you will respect their no and you won't question it. Because 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you. And it's just that their gas tank is so empty that they can't say yes right now. Saying yes would mean stepping over their like own body and going against everything that they honestly want to do. And so back to my friend wanting to move in, again, nothing to do with her. She's an amazing person. I just knowing myself, I'm going through such a journey right now, and I'm still dibble-dabbling in my past, that I really need to be secure with, I need to be secure before I can, help anybody else out. I need to be secure before little things that people say or don't say don't trigger me as much, and I know that I have to do this on my own, and to bring someone else and try to work on myself and also not be a bad friend, I don't have the energy, I don't have the gas. I don't have that right now. And so saying no is okay. It is perfectly acceptable. I also have another example. My friend, just recently, he was invited to a proposal. It was the day before the proposal, and his buddy called him and was like, hey, will you come to my proposal tomorrow, right? And this friend of mine, he was like, I don't... he knows that his buddy isn't super faithful, so he knows that this relationship isn't super, super, super great. And the reasons why this guy is going to propose, I mean, who knows? But this guy was like, I don't necessarily want to like drop all my plans, because it was from one day to the next, to go to a proposal that I don't necessarily agree with and that I don't really want to be there. Like, we're not that good of friends. Like, I just don't want to go. And I know that sounds really shitty. It just sounds like, you're fucked up, man. Like, why don't you just go? It's a proposal. Like, drop whatever else you're doing. But I say he has every right to say he doesn't want to go. And he could say no. He asked me, would you be hurt if I told you no? If you were going to propose to someone and I said, I don't want to go to your proposal, would you be hurt? And asking me right now today, this very second, I think I would be a little bit butthurt. I would be like, well, damn, like, why, like, what a good friend. But honestly, you can sit and ponder about it and just feel like they have the right to not want to go. Like, they have that right. And if you're a secure person, I mean, maybe you would be a little bit like, damn, like, why don't you want to go? But I also feel like if you want to keep that friend around or if you don't want to keep that friend around, it always goes back to you. You can make that choice. You can make that decision. If it really is truly something that like is so important to you that every friend has to drop at a drop of a dime, come to your proposal the day after the next day that you just ask him like, oh, you want to come tomorrow to, you know, then like keep them around or don't, but that is your choice. If you're so butthurt that they did that, don't be friends with them. If you're not butthurt, continue to be friends with them. Like I just don't, everybody's right and everyone is wrong. You know, like it's just all there. Yes, you could see both sides. Yes, you can have. So I think that that's where I always say like about compassion and self-compassion. Once you could see both sides, you don't necessarily have to agree with them at all, but you can see both sides. And then that can build compassion for both parties. When he first was telling me, I was like, damn, you're hell of a dick, you know? And he's like, no, I just genuinely didn't want to go. And then I started feeling kind of like inspired by him. I was like, I literally say yes to most things I don't want to go to. I literally say yes to people 90% of the time when I want to say no. And so that percentage, okay, let's take that percentage. 90% of the time I say yes to people that I want to say no to. So that 90%, I'm saying no to myself. That's fucking major. And I'm saying yes to myself 10% of the time. Like, why not swap those and tell people no when I truly want to say no? And then I think that will like bring down the percentage of how many people ask me to do certain things that like maybe I said yes one time, so now I'm always gonna freaking have to say yes, you know? Like there's no haves or shoulds or shouldn'ts. Like honestly, if you honestly have nothing in you and you have to say no, I would suggest don't feel guilty about it. Like honestly, it's taking me a long time to take my own advice. I was actually doing a client's hair today and we were talking about this situation and she gave me some advice and she's like, oh, that's great advice from me, right? The person that always says yes. And honestly, that actually gave me an idea to think, guys, any type of advice we give to a friend is literally something that we need to take in ourselves. Like I could give the greatest advice. I'm over here doing this YouTube channel on inner growth and everything. And every time I say something, I'm just like, damn, I need to do that. Like it just comes out. But it's honestly just something because we all know what to do. When people are like, I don't know what to do. Like yeah, you do. Your soul always knows what to do. And your mind will sit there and mind fuck you until you let it, right? We all know what to do. It's the matter of, are we going to take that step? And is it going to be the most challenging thing ever? Probably. But that's honestly our journey. Everybody has their journey. And what I'm trying to give myself advice for today is not feeling like a bad friend, a bad sister, a bad daughter, a bad anything just because I say no. My roommate, she used to, so we were both single and we would go out and I would tell her, you want to go out with me? And she told me, this was after, we have a great healthy friendship because she came to me and told me, you know what, Wendy, a lot of the times, because she was a people pleaser too, same as me. A lot of the times I genuinely feel so exhausted and I just don't feel like going out, but I go out because I don't want to make you mad. And so she said yes to me 90% of the time when she wanted to say no. And so obviously that starts building false expectations. Like now I started feeling like, of course she's gonna want to go out. She always wants to go out. And it's like she never wanted to go out. She just did it to make me happy. And so you start and so I started having false expectations of her. So when she said no to me, I was like, what? Why would you say no? You always say yes. So if she would have said no the first time and explained to me that like I'm genuinely tired and I can't give you my all today, then I would have expected that more often and wouldn't be so shocked when she said no. And I feel like I would be better about respecting that, you know. But we're now on a mutual understanding that we're not going to be people pleasers. We definitely will say no when we want to say no, and the other person, as a healthy person, will respect your no. And in a relationship, I think both parties, in my other relationships, I would be offended if someone said no to me. And the other person, I feel like, you know, what you see is what you do, would probably reciprocate that and would be offended when I said no. And would be like, you start just kind of acting like each other and having the same views on things. So if one person says no, then you're like, you don't love me. Or if one person says no, then am I not attractive for you? Or, you know, and so don't build those false expectations for yourself and then be like mad at the other person for expecting this of you when you're like, wow, you expect so much of me. Like, guys, we set up our own expectations. I mean, people have them for you, right? But like when you first meet someone, most of the time I would say they don't truly expect like an arm and a leg, you know? But once you give them an arm and a leg, like, and then you stop giving them an arm and a leg, then of course they're gonna be like, where is it? Where's my arm? Where's my leg? You know, like, so that's why being honest with yourself and being honest in the relationship, being honest with everybody, not just trying to put your best foot forward, but putting your true self forward, then you don't have to take off that mask later on and be like, just kidding, I actually wanted to say no 90% of the time, and now you're gonna be mad at me. Or now you know a completely different person that you used to. Like, let's say someone like, oh, like, let's go on a date. No, I don't feel like it. When you're like, yeah, maybe, like, oh, I'm actually busy, like, you're gonna hurt someone. Hurt them with the truth rather than you trying to tiptoe and like make them feel good for that. That's instant gratification. You will instantly gratify and make them happy for that second, but then be miserable the rest of the time. You don't really want to go on that date. You don't really want to talk to that person. Why do we do things we don't want to do? We want to be liked. We want to be accepted. We want to be connected to someone, right? I just say the more you're connected to yourself and to source, which whatever you believe in is great. So whenever you're mostly in the depths of your core connected to source and yourself, everybody else is bonus. Everyone else is amazing, and it's great to have a community of people. I guess to me, I just simply saying no is a respectable answer. Depending on your relationship with that person, you can ask why, or you can simply just respect it. And I'm not gonna lie, it took me like all day to respond to my friend because I was nervous that she would take it be so offended by it, or just feel like I'm being a bad friend and I just, can't do it and all of these things. And I honestly felt like she was gonna hate me and never talk to me again. And it is scary. It is scary to say no. It is scary to send your truth, but it would be even scarier if I said yes. And I literally didn't want to come home every night. I felt resentful. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. That would be more scary for me. So take that scary leap, take that jump, because choose you 100% of the time, not in a selfish way. I don't say that in a selfish way. Because caring for yourself and loving yourself isn't selfish. And that's not what we're taught. We're not taught. We're taught to give. And that makes you a good person. That makes you an empty giver because you have no gas in the tank and you're giving. So we have a world full of people that give, but never to themselves. Or we have a world of people that give only to themselves, but in the very selfish, materialistic way, not in a spiritual, emotional, loving, kind, harmonious way. So let's just balance that out, because not one or the other is best. It's just balancing that out and finding the equilibrium of everything. But I just know, like everything else, when your gas is full in your car, it runs a lot better than when it's on empty. And when it's full, you're full, you know, you can travel everywhere. You're more happy, the radio's up, you know, like the AC's blowing, and when it's on empty, you're literally fucking scared that the next mile might be the last mile, that you're gonna stop and have to like deal with all this shit and like go like walk a mile to go get gas to like you already have more anxiety being on empty than you do on full. So how can you say yes to people on anxiety, empty gas? Like, you literally are scared every mile to think that it's gonna stop at any moment, or you're gonna have a meltdown or blow up or fucking something, you know? So I know we're not cars, but it's a good analogy to think like, it's okay to say no at any given moment. It really is. And to feel that the people that love you and respect you and that you want in your life can accept the word no. If they don't accept the word no, I would suggest maybe they aren't the most secure people, and maybe reevaluate that relationship with that person and see how you feel, not how you think. Go based off your heart. Your mind is awesome, but it can mind fuck you for sure. Your heart is closer to your soul, and your soul knows best. And that's a lot to do with like energy work, and I want to talk a lot about that in my next couple of videos. But once you're aware, once you know your energy, your vibration, the connection with people, it makes it a lot easier to kind of allow people to come in and out of your life, or to release them, and know that it's for the best for them and the best for you, because no one else is your responsibility. You are your responsibility. And if you need to say no because you are empty, you're still an amazing person. And really keep reminding yourself about that. And I will keep reminding myself about that, because all day today, I've just been like, I'm a shitty friend because I said no. Because honestly, if I give any excuses, like I live alone, I have another spare bedroom, like every reason to say yes, I just can't. And I won't. Because I don't feel like it's healthy for me to have someone else in my space when I'm really trying to work my shit out. And that is okay. I need to respect myself and my space and know that this is my time. And I love myself, and I can love that friend from afar if she and now it's her choice if she continues to have me in her life. So know that you are special and great and amazing. Definitely feel empowered to say no if you truly feel it, and give yourself that luxury of being honest with yourself and others, and truly communicating honesty and truth to yourself at all times. Even through the hardest times, that's when you most need to be honest with yourself. Remember that you are unconditionally loved, unconditionally valued, and unconditionally enough by just being you. And so it is. I appreciate you listening. I know this was raw as fuck. It was what I needed today. And so I hope that it helps you this week. I love you all. And I will be seeing you next time. Bye.